Welcome to Atlanta's Pure Sports Talk, Rankination. I'm Scott Rankin, your host for NCAA Top 25 College Football Roundup, with all the scores and my commentary. Welcome, everybody. I'm glad y'all are tuned in to hear my second week of bringing you the NCAA Top 25 College Football Roundup. Well, the state of Georgia this weekend wasn't well represented by their college football teams, except for the number 3 Georgia Bulldogs. We'll get to that. First of all, we had Georgia Tech taking on Pitt up in Pittsburgh today. They ended up losing that one 19-24. Pitt went on in the first half to take a 21-point lead, and it seemed to hold through the rest of the game. Georgia Tech seemed like they were trying to make a comeback, but they were just too far down behind to be able to come back. And that's their second loss of the season. I'm pretty much saying it's over with. I don't know what Paul Johnson's got in his hat or whatever, but I don't think I want Paul Johnson back as coach for my favorite team, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. It's awful. I hate it when Georgia Tech. I hate it when they're my team stinks. It's very awful, and they need to get their head out of their asses and do something to start winning some ball games. Next thing we have Georgia Southern today loses to the number 2 ranked Clemson Tigers 38-7. That was in Clemson. And we got Georgia State played Friday night. They lost to Memphis 59-22. So yeah, and then the only bright spot of this, all the Georgia teams, was Georgia. They went on and did what they're supposed to do against an inferior team, was against Middle Tennessee State. They went on to win 49-7, a close one there. So we're going to roll out to the rest of the top 25, and we're going to start off by talking about the game is still in progress. It's pretty much over, 31 seconds left, and number 23 Arizona State is losing to San Diego State 21-28. 25 seconds left. I don't know. I'm thinking that, let's see, 3rd and 10 on 50. There was 25 seconds left. I don't think Arizona State's going to come out and win that one. So San Diego State looks like they're going to hand Arizona their first defeat of the season and maybe a ticket out of the top 25. You know, I already told you that Clemson has defeated, number 2 Clemson has defeated Georgia Southern today, 38-7. Number 21 Miami was able to hold off Toledo 49-24 today. Good for Mark Richt. And go on to the number 5 Oklahoma Sooners. They roll on to defeat Iowa State 37-27. Like you said before, Middle Tennessee State was no match for the number 3 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. They go on and do what they're supposed to do for the number 3 ranked team in the country, which I think should be number 2, but I'm not the one that votes them in. So you talk to them, talk to all them other guys, so don't blame me. Penn State, they were taking on Kent State today, and I don't think Penn State had a big problem because they put up 63 on them, and Kent State only had 10. So that was no match for Penn State today. And kudos to my buddy George Brownie. He's a Penn State fan and a Penn State alumni, and I'm sure he's glad to hear that they won today, and they're 3-0. They're barely 3-0. Should have won the other day, last weekend. But we go on to number 9 Stanford. They defeated UC Davis 30-10 today, and Notre Dame was they were playing in South Bend today. They played the no-ranked Vanderbilt Commodores, and they squeaked that one out 22-17. LSU, number 12 LSU went down to Auburn, Alabama, to take on the Auburn Tigers, and they took them on and they beat them. So LSU is 3-0. Auburn has got their first defeat of the season. They fall 22-21. Way to go, LSU. You should come up in the top 10 after that. Number 6, Wisconsin was taken on by BYU today, and they were beat today. Wisconsin Badgers were beat 24-21. We go on to the number 17, Boise State went to Oklahoma State to take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and they were defeated 44-21. Seemed like it was kind of a blowout after a while. So I don't think Boise State, they might be in the top 25 after this week, but I doubt it. Number 19, Michigan was hosting SMU today. They go on to roll 45-20. Number 20, Oregon takes on San Jose State at home today. They win 35-22. Number 1, Alabama to Oxford, Mississippi today, only to win big, 62-7. There was no match. The Ole Miss running Rebels, were no match for the Alabama Crimson Tide, as the number one Alabama Crimson Tide rolls on like they're supposed to do. I didn't think they'd roll on like that, but Ole Miss, they're gonna be sorry because they freaking cheated the last couple of years. So anyway, we'll talk about that later. We go on to Mississippi State, where the number 16 Mississippi State Bulldogs took on the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana, and they went on to roll 56-10. Number 4 Ohio State was to battle TCU today. They were down at first, but Ohio State come back, and they win by 12, 40-28. Number 22 USC goes down to Austin, Texas, to take on the Texas Longhorns, and they lost 37-14. Texas Longhorns roll over the University of Southern California Trojans. Good for you, Texas. I'm glad y'all got a big win this early in the season. Maybe it'll spark y'all into doing something like you're supposed to do in the national spotlight, because y'all are a big powerhouse in Texas at one time. But hopefully y'all's prominence will come back to us. Number 10, Washington went to the Mormon state of Utah, only to win 21-7. That was number 10, Washington defeating Utah. And the rest of the top 25, they were canceled due to the Hurricane Florence, I believe it was called. Number 18, UCF, was supposed to take on 0-2 North Carolina today, but that was canceled. East Carolina was supposed to take on the number 13 ranked Virginia Tech Hokies, and the number 14th ranked West Virginia Mountaineers were supposed to take on NC State, which was also canceled. And there was no dates or no times or reschedule that I see for to make up those games. In the past, they haven't made those games up, and I doubt they'll make them up because there's just not enough time in the football season to do that. So I don't know how that'll factor into. I don't think any of them will be up there for a national championship. I think maybe Virginia Tech has the best chance, but I doubt it. And I know UCF, they're not a big enough school to be a national championship. In West Virginia, I don't think it's going to happen either. So, but anyway, that was all the scores and everything from the top 25 NCAA football scores we have. Well, that's it for the college football roundup for the NCAA top 25. But now I'm gonna go ahead and go into the NFL, and I'm gonna give you the schedule of who's playing who, and go over Thursday night football, who won that one, and my picks for all the NFL games we have on slate tomorrow. I think it's a full slate, so nobody's on bye yet. And away we go. We had Thursday night football was Baltimore and Cincinnati, and the Baltimore Ravens. Was a division rival game. Baltimore Ravens go to the Cincinnati Bengals. Go to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, and they ended up losing that one 34-23. I know A.J. Green had a couple of touchdowns. He had 3 touchdowns, as a matter of fact. Andy Dalton was 24-42 for 265 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mixon had 21 carries for 84 yards, and Giovanni Bernard had 27 yards on 6 carries. T. Boyd had a TD, and A.J. Green had 3 TDs. Boyd had 6 receptions for 91 yards, and A.J. Green had 5 receptions for 69 yards. Joe Flacco was 32 of 55 for the Ravens, threw for 376 yards and 2 TDs. A. Collins he had 9 carries for 35 yards and no TDs. And Jay Allen was 6 carries, 8 yards, 1 TD, while Jay Brown has 4 receptions for 92 yards and for 4 receptions for 92 yards, 1 TD. And Michael Crabtree he rounded out with 5 receptions for 56 yards, and that's it. That's it for that one, division rival game, and Cincinnati goes on to take that one. Next up, we have, starting at 1 o'clock tomorrow, 1 p.m., we have the Carolina Panthers coming to The Atlanta Falcons coming to visit the Atlanta Falcons tomorrow in sunny, good weathered Atlanta, Georgia. My favorite town, my favorite place, my favorite everything in the world. I'm going to tell you this. With our injuries, the Falcons have several key injuries on defense. Keanu O'Neal's out, Deion Jones is out, and Devontae Freeman's out now. We have one of our guards, Ben Garland. He's going to be out, and a couple of our bench players are going to be out. But the Falcons have a deep squad this year, and I don't think they're going to roll, but they're going to go on. They're going to handle business and take care of Carolina at home tomorrow. Next up, we have the Chargers coming up to visit Buffalo. They're both 0-1 on the season. They come up to Buffalo to play at 1 p.m. tomorrow, and I'm gonna take the Chargers on that one. Just, I think they're too talented. Their defense is really good, and they have Phillip Rivers. What else can you say? He's a gamer. Minnesota's taking on Green Bay tomorrow up at Lambeau Field. They're both 1-0. It's a division game, but I'm going to go with the Packers on that one. The Packers are probably my second or third favorite team. Who can not like Aaron Rodgers when they're not playing the Falcons? So I'm going to take Green Bay on that one. I'm taking them by 3 at least. Cleveland's coming down to New Orleans to take on the Saints. You know what? I think I'm going to pick Cleveland to upset the Saints at home. I like their little squad they have this year, and they were fun to watch in week 1 at least. They tied their arch rivals, division arch rivals, Pittsburgh last week. So I don't think that left a bad taste in Pittsburgh and the Steelers' mouths last week. So I remember the press conferences with their coach, Pittsburgh's coach, and he wasn't too happy about that. Next up, another 1 o'clock game tomorrow is the Jets are hosting the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to take the Jets in that one because I just don't like Miami, period. And I always kind of go for the Jets, and they're the lovable losers, from New York. Next up, we have Kansas City taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers at Heinz Field tomorrow. I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. I just think they're too talented of a team, and they have too much back there, and the quarterback for Ben Roethlisberger to not lose at home, and they're upset about that tie that very rarely happens in the NFL. So they're gonna go on. They might roll. I don't think they're gonna roll too bad because Andy Reid's always got a good defense behind him. So they'll go on to win that maybe by 4. Philadelphia's coming down to Florida taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think on that one I'm going to pick Philly on that one. I just don't see it happening with Tampa Bay. I don't think Fitzpatrick's playing back there. He can hurl that ball, and they scored in seven consecutive possessions to open up the game against the Saints last week, and they went on to beat them pretty good. So I'm still going to take Philly. I just don't have a hard time picking my division rivals, which I hate the most, because I am a Falcons fan. So even if you didn't know, because this Rankination Atlanta pure sports talk, don't you forget it either. Okay, the next one we have. These are all 1 p.m. games, by the way, until I say otherwise. Houston is traveling to Tennessee to take on the Titans. And I'm going to pick Marcus Mariota. If Marcus Mariota is playing tomorrow, I heard he got injured, and I don't know if he's playing or not. But I'm still going to take Tennessee at home, and I like Marcus Mariota in that one to bring prominence to Tennessee tomorrow. Indiana and Washington are playing at RFK. I don't know if it's RFK anymore, but it's in Washington. I'm always going to call it RFK Stadium because I'm old school like that. Washington's gonna take care of Indy. Indy didn't really have it. I don't think old quarterback for Indianapolis. I don't think he's quite right yet to be playing in that. So I'm gonna take Washington in that to roll on that. I think they're gonna beat them pretty good. I don't think Indianapolis has too much of anything there anymore except for their quarterback, which is back in T.Y. Hilton or whatever. The Rams of L.A. are hosting the Arizona Cardinals. And I think the Rams are going to win tomorrow. This is a 4 o'clock game, of course, because they're out in L.A. I'm going to pick San Francisco. They're hosting Detroit tomorrow. I'm going to pick San Francisco to beat the dog snout out of the Detroit Lions because of Kyle Shanahan and his offense and the way they were playing last year. after they got clicking on all cylinders with Garoppolo after he went there with their trade they made. So I'm going to pick San Francisco over Detroit. Denver tomorrow is hosting the Oakland Raiders, and I don't think I think Gruden might pull one out in Denver tomorrow. Denver, they were below 500 last year. They weren't too good, and I think Denver has too much talent to. I just don't think Denver's defense is going to be able to keep them from losing games this year. So I'm going to pick Oakland in that. John Gruden's going to get his first win. Jacksonville, they're going to take on New England, and I hope Jacksonville beats New England, but you never know. But I'm still going to pick Jacksonville because they're at home tomorrow. Those are 4:25 starts. The LA and the San Francisco game are 4 or 5 starts, and Denver, Jacksonville are 4:25 starts. Sunday night we got Dallas and the Giants. The Dallas Cowboys are hosting the New York Giants tomorrow night at 8:20. And Monday Night Football, I'm gonna pick the Giants on that one because Dallas, they look awful, and Ezekiel Elliott, he's not good enough yet to carry the Dallas Cowboys through the season. And Monday night we have Chicago hosting the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm going to pick Chicago to beat the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are not who they used to be, and Russell Wilson is not going to be able to carry them to the promised land all by himself. So there you have it. Those are my picks. Like them or leave them, that's who I like. Come follow Rankination. I'm trying to do a different take on how I'm approaching my podcast, and I hope that it's better easy listening for my fans. Please come to my website at rankinationsportsfans.com. RANKINATIONSPORTS fans FANS.com, all one word. And then come to my website and please subscribe and leave your you can put your name in the contact list and email me, and I'll get your emails. Please, you can answer the trivia question for the week, and you can just drop me a line to say, comment on anything that I've said or anything you want to bring to the table that we can discuss in one of my segment podcasts coming up, or it could be a total your question or whatever. We can do a whole podcast on that, which I would love, and I want you guys to follow me. I want to be entertaining to you guys, so you guys will come back and visit with me every week for all my episodes. So I just want to sign off now. My name is Scott Rankin, your host for Atlanta's Pure Sports Talk, Rankination. Thanks again, y'all. Bye-bye.